Welcome back, ladies and gents. Time for match 2 of the day. Direwolves about to take on Mammoth after a banger matchup to kick things off. Are we expecting, or I guess the question is there a chance for Mammoth to cause this upset? Because Direwolves trending on the upwards.
I want to say no.
Of course you want to say no. But let me tempt
also,
you.
like, Direwolves trending on the upwards, didn't they just get ripped apart yesterday?
Yeah, well, until then, you know, it's sometimes when you're trending upwards, you cop a couple of L's, but you still tend to go on the up, you know, stonks.
Yeah, have you got any stocks? You look at the share market?
I got the Doge coin.
Yeah, you know how the Doge coin goes up, and then it goes down a little bit, and then it goes up again, and then it goes down a little bit, but it always, you know, if you look at it in the long term, it continues to go up. That's, I think, what Direwolves is like.
Fair enough. Yep. Being a trader and an investor myself, I believe that to be true.
Look, that's what trends are, you know. Trends are something that are set, and Jubes, I know you're a trendsetter. Look at that hairdo. I've been trying to copy it the whole time. I know Jordan, he's en route. He just needs to get a little bit of a trim to get it as short and perfectly shaped as yours. So, look, if you want any hair tips, please, everyone in chat, at SinJubes, and make sure you ask him exactly how he does it, because I'm sure he's going to be very open with you and tell you how to do it. No. Look, if we're talking about losing hair, that's on me. But speaking of losing, I don't think that's the plan for Direwolves today. Let's have a quick look at their roster. Jordan, take us through this star-studded roster.
Yeah, I mean, I guess with the exception of that match yesterday against Pentanet, I feel like they have been on the up and up. They've been doing a little bit better than what we saw from them at the start of the season. And I think they're kind of hitting the expectation that we had for them coming into LCO, where they would have, or probably could have been, at least in the top 3 for most people's power rankings at that point in time. They dropped down all the way even to 5th at one point, but they've started to sort of claw their way back in. I think we've seen Claire get a bit more comfortable in the top lane, particularly when I've seen him on Gnar. I think he's been really impressive there. The mid lane has been a shining spot of brilliance, really, for Direwolves, and everyone's talking about Shock at the moment. And when Cupcake's on Thresh, in particular, he's having some really good times down there in bot as well. So, I mean, across the board, it really does feel like Direwolves is sort of starting to come together. And I haven't even mentioned Only or Gunkrab. I always get to this point where I'm like, oh well, I feel like I've talked about 3 of them. It's mean to leave a couple more out. Gunkrab's been decent. I think Only's also been quite decent of late. Again, yesterday's match aside, it is kind of hard, I think, to go up against Pentanet and look good. So I'll sort of put that one by the wayside. But by and large, I think Direwolves have been on an upward trend, and I would definitely say they should be winning this match every day of the week. Yeah, if they don't win this one, that's where big questions get asked.
I really hope we get another one of those opening monologues from Only, because, man, that man has the voice of an angel. Speaking of angels, Mammoth, you know, they're looking a little bit rough at the moment and might just be flying away. Let's see if they can spread their wings towards the end of the season. Jubes, take us through and tell us why Wei is so good looking there with his crazy old hair.
I think it's because he likes anime a lot, from all reports.
Okay.
He did have a few anime pictures in the back last interview I saw, so maybe that was the angle he was going for, or you're going for, rather. But what I want to see from this Mammoth team is, I think they've actually had some okay drafts in terms of the champion pools that they have and what works for them. This game in particular, I think their draft is actually better than Order's in terms of how their composition deals with the side of Order. However, if you fall behind in laning phase like we saw here, where they were getting 2v2 killed after getting the advantage, then the game is always going to be an uphill battle. Yes, they got the shutdown in this instance, but they're still 3k down from laning phase. I think if you're ever at a 3,000, 4,000 gold deficit from lane, then that just needs to be your focus week on week on week. Because we talk about the Mammoth lineup, can they improve at this, can they improve at that? But I think fundamentally, all we want to see from them is getting out of lane at a point in which they're able to do something, or able to, you know, at least have a team fire, or at least have a macro decision where they're on an even footing.
Yeah, and look, let's see if we can find an even footing in the interview. We'll bring Nat back from the side lane. She's already ready with the talent down on those side lanes. So who do you have for us going into match number 2, Nat?
I'll be interviewing a Cupcake and Wei. Guys, thank you so much for joining me before your game. I want to ask you, Wei, you know, you guys have still only 1 win on the board at the moment. How are you guys feeling about this? Because there are still chances for you guys to make playoffs if certain things were to happen.
Well, obviously, it'd be nice to make it all the way to playoffs with like the super run, but my main goal today is just a sabotage cupcake. That's actually all I care about today. If I get the dub today, then that means everything to me.
Oh, so your goal is just to beat Direwolves. You don't care about the rest of the games for the split. You're focused on Cupcake right now.
Yeah, and I got some new technology I've been cooking up in the lab, so hopefully it isn't as bad as my talent pick. Maybe it's going to be the exact opposite, I'm hoping.
Does that make you nervous at all, Cupcake, or how are you guys feeling over at Direwolves?
Let's just say I hope that he keeps at least 3 pinks in the bot river because I'm roaming mid all game. You better sleep with one eye open tonight.
All I'm saying is, if you roam mid, I'm gonna get a double kill. So come mid all you want.
Okay.
We might just that's it. We're just going to be focusing on mid lane for this whole game now. Anyway, Cupcake, I also want to ask, as you guys are coming into the playoffs, your run seems to get a little bit easier. Very opposite end to Order's run into it. So what is the pressure for you guys winning this game and the games to come?
Honestly, we haven't been paying too much attention to the schedule. We've just had the playoffs in mind, just to be the best team that we can be come playoffs. So we're getting to the later end and we're just trying to iron out all the kinks and yeah, just make sure that we're improving as fast as we can still. So nothing special this week or next week.
When you say nothing special, does that also include nothing special with your draft, or is this a game that you guys feel comfortable to potentially try some new things out?
No, we're not going to be underestimating anyone. We're going to give it our all every game, and it's good practice to play your best drafts every time that you get the opportunity. Stage games are really valuable, so yeah, just back to business for us.
And what about you, Wei? What about over at Mammoth? Are you guys going to be pulling out something fresh and exciting that could potentially take Direwolves for a ride?
Yeah, I mean, obviously I said it before. I can't say what pick it is, but it's definitely an interesting one. Probably arguably more interesting than Talon. So if I get the opportunity, I'll be very happy to play it.
Excellent. I mean, with that being said, I've got to let you guys go so you can jump into the lobby and we can wrap it up here on the desk and get this game started. Thank you both so much for joining me and good luck.
Thank you.
Look, I'm not only interested in what Wei's playing, but Cupcake said sleep with one eye open. So is that like a cryptic message that we're finally going to see some Vel'Koz?
I don't know, but I'm excited all around for this game. I had no idea Wei had it out for a Cupcake in the Rift, so it's going to be interesting.
I thought it was cryptic that they were going to have a sleepover and we weren't invited. So I was a bit disappointed that we didn't get the invites in the mail.
Look, I
LAN
love,
party or something, sleepover.
I absolutely love those humble pre-game interviews, but I also love a bit of banter. That was some great back and forth between those two. And let's see if it translates well into the Rift. Now, speaking of, let's bring up the predictions and see where we have all leaned with this one. I have a feeling we've clean swept this with Direwolves predictions, just looking over at my other monitor, and I believe we have. So no one's dared to go for the underdogs this time. I honestly thought about it. I was like, today I should just go for, you know, all the underdog picks. Maybe it's the day of upsets. It could be upon us. But of course, Direwolves, I feel like they're looking too good at the moment. So that's my thoughts. What about you guys?
Yeah, I think it's hard to argue that Direwolves aren't going to win this one. Heavy favourites coming on in, but I'm hoping if Wei's spice is as spicy as it is, or sounds it is, then maybe we're in for a bit of an upset. Maybe we're in for a bit of a twist, a bit of a turn, and what do you reckon?
Yeah. How about, do you want to take quick guesses on what it is going to be? Because, look, I'm completely just blown out of the water. I have no Yi mid. I reckon it's Yi mid.
Look, I want it to be Ziggs. I don't think it is Ziggs because I don't think that's really a Wei champion. It's got to be some kind of like assassin, AD mid, something like that. We've seen Yasuo, we've seen Talon. It seems to be the kinds of stuff that he wants to lean towards. But as to who it might actually be, I mean, there's so many champions in LoL. This is like a fruitless exercise. Like, really,
bit of Zed.
What do you want from me?
It's a
But Zed's not even a troll pick, though, I don't think,
Nah.
really.
Okay. What about you, Nat? You think it's a moo-moo?
Yeah, I mean, I'm hoping it is.
Or it could be. He could be making the prophecy become true.
Maybe
Now,
he's been grinding hard for the Amumu mid.
I hope we see it. That'd be... Would that be a troll pick, Jubes? Would that be straight up troll pick?
Yes.
Honestly, I'd ask the producer to get him out of the game, and we'd just straight all report him for playing a Moo mid, and be better to just be done with it than to sit through it. Put it that way.
Okay, so
Okay.
apparently no alternate universe. Nat has to face that harsh reality, so that's unfortunate for us. And look, we can rest on our laurels, just wait up on the sidelines, because you know what time it is? It is time for the game. Direwolves and Mammoth coming up right now.
Okay. Interesting based on that interview, Jubes, as to what we might get. I'm hoping for something a little bit spicy, but a lot of the time people say they're going to pick something interesting, and then you're like, it wasn't really that different. It wasn't really that out of the ordinary, you know? So I haven't got my hopes too high, to be honest.
The thing is that it's not going to be a counter pick. I would get very excited if they were red side, because then the last pick could be mid lane and then he picks it out, right? But in this situation, it's going to have to be picked early or be flexed. So we'll see what plays out. Pretty standard bans across the board from both teams, not wanting to give away Seraphine Thresh. Thresh being, you know, one of those picks that's just extremely popular in LCO right now. Many teams first picking it, but Direwolves banning it away is interesting.
Yeah, it is actually the most picked support alongside Rel. In fact, I think actually just based on that last game, Rel might have a higher pick rate now than Thresh, but Thresh certainly has a better conversion rate. It's certainly been one of the better looking supports in these games. I mean, you see the Jhin there. What about Jhin mid? That's what I'm thinking. You know, I'm thinking that's a flex. You don't see Jhin first pick that often, so surely you're not picking Jhin AD carry first pick.
Back in the day, people did try and play Jhin mid, but the problem that they run into, or you run into, is when you get ganked. Unfortunately, it's not a 1v1 lane. It is definitely one where you need a little bit of mobility sometimes. You need a little bit of protection, and you need a little bit of skirmishing potential. And the thing about these AD carries mid, the ones that are viable, like Tristana, like the Lucian at times, they have mobility, they have burst, and they just have a lot going for them in the 2v2, in the skirmish. Jhin, not so much.
Well, if it is going to be a Jhin down in the bot lane, I mean, that still surprises me a little bit that is the first pick that Mammoth would go for, to be honest.
I think it's a comfort. I believe Scheifritz played it before. I think maybe even the game that they won, or at least a close game.
He did play it once, in day number 4.
For me, it probably just screams more of a comfort pick than something that is particularly good. However, Aphelios, Gunkrab, name a more iconic duo.
Yeah, I mean, I guess there's that as well. So, no Thresh to pair with it. That is interesting that Direwolves would want to go towards the Aphelios, but they've banned away Thresh. Especially considering how strong Cupcake is as a Thresh player, but maybe he's trying to shake that off a little bit after being put on blast a couple of weeks ago for being a Thresh one-trick.
Yeah, but Gragas Aphelios wouldn't be a bad lane either, right? You know, you can consider the body slam a soft hook in the sense that there's a little bit of CC where they can't move. Obviously, you're not going to get flayed too, but hey, the ultimate from Gragas can be a flay, so if we want to compare notes, maybe that's something that they've worked on. If I'm being optimistic, I'm just being optimistic. I'm trying to make them feel comfortable. Maybe it's Camille mid.
Cask flay, maybe doing it a bit of a disjustice.
Yeah, maybe it's Camille mid.
Could be. I mean, look, I'm not really a mid laner, I'll say that much, so I'm not sure that I have a great area of expertise here, but I don't feel as though Camille mid really has a lot of strength.
Camille mid back in the day when Camille mid was like, or when Camille was like really S tier champ, and I'm talking like a few seasons ago, I think in 2018, a lot of mid laners were playing Camille mid into certain control mages. Because you have the hookshot angle for two sides, like two sides in mid lane, you have the hookshot angle. But then once you get Hextech Ultimatum, if the control mage ever steps up too far, they're dead. They can't flash. They can flash in the Hextech Ultimatum, but they can't flash away.
I mean, to speak perhaps against that, you see two bans towards Syndra and Azir, right? So a couple of control mages taken away by Mammoth.
Yeah. But they are the longer range ones, right?
That's true.
The Syndra, the Azir, potentially the ones where you have a hard time getting through the early laning phase. But again, we may just be over-analyzing this because of the interview that Wei had.
Probably. We're going to get something really standard, and it's just going to be like, oh, okay, well,
what? Oh, it was Ziggs. Yeah.
He actually has gone for the Ziggs.
Who said Ziggs? Was it you?
Me! I'm a gaming god. I'm a gaming god, Tubes.
Did you check his OPGG?
No, I actually didn't. I honestly didn't. I just saw a Reddit thread. This is what actually made me think of Ziggs, by the way. I saw a Reddit thread like a week ago or 2 weeks ago or something where someone was complaining that the Ziggs pick rate was so low and that they needed to buff him or something like that. And I was just thinking, when he said that in that interview, I was thinking, what's like the worst pick you could possibly make that would be like a real curveball that might actually kind of work in a competitive environment? And Ziggs might actually be it, you know? He's one of those champions where if you do get behind against the Ziggs and really start to let him dictate the game, he can just be absolutely painful to deal with. Let's just put it that way.
Now, can I explain in a weird way or concept why I don't mind Mammoth's draft? Okay, they're a team that's 1-8. Okay, like there's no sugarcoating where they are in the ladder and the games that they've had, right? They've had some performances that have been less than desirable, to say the least. Now they're coming up against a team who, yes, they're 5-4, but we do consider them one of the top 2, top 3 teams in the league at the moment. Now they've just thrown a curveball in their draft. Now think about it like this: Immobile 80 carry, Immobile mid laner, Olaf is opting in for the Ghost, Immobile as well. So 3 predominantly Immobile champions that can't get out of a Jarvan Cataclysm. You pair that with the Camille ultimate, then you pair that with the Ziggs Mega Inferno Bomb. It's free real estate. It is free real estate on top of the heads of every Direwolf member every 5 minutes that their flash is down. So the composition itself is actually well thought out in terms of they have a lot of lockdown and the Ziggs really can't miss any of the abilities. And if Wei is your pinpoint, or if Wei is where you're going to put most of your resources, there's a realm in where this composition works. Right? Like, works in quotation marks, because obviously it's not one we're used to seeing, but I think it's a curveball. Hey, why not?
I like to see different kinds of picks, and especially when you are one of the bottom teams in the league, I think you just want to pull something a little bit out, you know, pull a bit of a curveball out and see how that works. I mean, it has worked in the past with some of the weird compositions that we've seen drafted through here, so it's certainly going to make Direwolves think. I mean, even the headbutt pole on top of that, you know, you got the Cataclysm into headbutt pole into the Hextech Ultimatum. I mean, there's just so much lockdown for Mammoth. But it does feel like a lot of this kind of hinges on how much damage Wei can actually put through with the Mega Inferno Bomb and those Qs. But I suppose we'll have to wait and see. Still, it doesn't look like a bad kind of a lineup for the Direwolves either. You know, if they start to pull ahead a little bit, it's going to be, I think, quite difficult still for Mammoth to make this one work. But look, I mean, I'm excited. I'm really excited because Ziggs, I won't say he's one of my favorite champs, but he is one that I like to pull out. He's a bit of a cheeky guy, and you can have some pretty fun games on Ziggs. So let's not forget the fact that he destroys towers quite quickly as well.
Yeah, he has the, you could say that he has the potential to just really explode open a game.
Yep, pretty much.
You get where I was going with that?
I got it, yeah. Actually, I did.
You didn't laugh, so I thought maybe you didn't get it.
Well, okay, so normally when I laugh, it's because things are funny.
Yeah, for sure. And that was like maybe the funniest thing you've ever heard.
Yeah, I guess so. Maybe. Maybe. I mean, there aren't too many others that I can think of actually off the top of my head, so you're probably right.
And you do pair with MacMate, so the bar is pretty low in terms of what's funny and what's not.
Only because I have to, not because I want to. But anyway, we're into game. It's Mammoth and Direwolves. Game 2 of the day, and we have Farmer for an interview this time, who is from the Direwolves. And, well, there's a lot to talk about, I think, here, Farmer, isn't there? Because that is a bit of a curveball. Wei did say that he was going to pull something interesting out, but you've got to go up against the Ziggs now, and I can't imagine that was within the discussions at all in the prep phase for this game.
Yeah, look, this guy is always picking curveballs against us now. And last time he went, I think, 60 CS down or something in lane. Just a quick trip down memory lane on that one. So yeah, I definitely am not worried about their curveballs, but you can tell they're, you know, this is a team that bottom of the ladder needs to flip to win. And yeah, I don't think it will work out for them.
Yeah, I mean, what do you think about the methodology, though, in regards to going for curveballs? Like, is it, you know, if Direwolves was in a position that Mammoth was in, would you be looking to play standard, or do you think you'd be looking to sort of throw something in the mix that might put the other teams off guard? Because to me, it seems like if you're in that spot, you know, you're not winning the standard matches, so you may as well try and go for something that'll upset your opponents a bit.
Yeah, look, I'm definitely familiar with this kind of strategy when you come with from a position of maybe as the underdog and you feel like playing standard isn't the way to go, you know, especially with inexperienced players. And so I understand where they're coming from. I just think that if we expect it and just draft comps that work for us and champs that are comfortable for us, like we'll never run into problems. But yeah, again, like I understand where they're coming from, and I think it's a fair strategy for them.
Yeah, okay, fair enough. And tell me about the bot lane then as well, right? We saw you with the Thresh ban, and we've obviously highlighted Cupcake a few times on the Thresh. It seems obvious that you would look to pair the Thresh and the Aphelios together, but you've gone for the Gragas instead. Was that just for the flex potential earlier on in the draft, or is Cupcake trying to move away maybe from that Thresh one-trick kind of label that he's been given?
He's definitely not a Thresh one-trick. I think it's just a very strong champ, and we think we win best without it on the enemy team, and best with us with it on our team. So I think in this position, the Gragas was a good flex. It's a good disengaged champ into like all of their dive, which we need because their whole comp is relying on just getting onto our carries. So I think that in this position, we're very happy with the draft. We should Neo surf our way into victory. Yep.
Awesome. Well, we'll hope to see the best from you, and hope to see the best of Direwolves into playoffs as well. Thanks very much for the interview, and we'll jump back into game.
Yeah. So cheeky first blood picked up there. Just that you draft a certain composition that requires either items level 6 or it requires key things, right? And then you just force a gank a little bit too hard in the mid lane. Once the Zoe burns flash, you ultimately just want to walk the other way because you know where Olaf started. He's going to be on that side of the river, and this is just something that Mammoth consistently do that puts themselves in a hole at the start of a game, right? We just want them out of a laning phase even or close to even, and now they're already at a significant deficit in the jungle matchup.
Yeah, not to mention the Ziggs, which we're going to keep our eyes on. Just a little bit behind, although I think he's got a pretty big wave to farm, so might be catching up at least substantially. Buggy will look to clear out the little scuttler. Has some help from Shinky. No concerns really in that part of the map for now. Still reasonably even.
Repeat. He's repeating on mid, I think. Keep an eye on mid lane.
I'm keeping.
Potentially a repeat gank, but no.
There is a control ward there that's going to make life a little difficult for him. He does want to go down to bot. This is actually the perfect time. There's a control ward for Mammoth, and so Buggy can get right on top of Gunkrab. Now, it's obviously a counter gank because Only's there as well, and the 3-on-3 most certainly is favoring Direwolves. Double kill for Only, and he is going to start snowballing hard now. That's 3 kills in less than 5 minutes.
Yeah, Only's a bit of a berserker on this Olaf. 3 kills, 5 minutes, potentially solo kill top side of the map. Yeah, Claire really showing his prowess on this Renekton, and this is how the Renekton matchup generally goes into Camille when you're especially confident on the Renekton, right? Camille really has no business being in this lane, and this is a lot of the reason why we don't see it, you know, predominantly blind picked, is because there are the avenues for counter picks, and he even took Ignite to the lane, Nectar. So that's obviously an offensive summoner spell. Flash being the defensive, and getting solo killed with the offensive summoner spell never feels nice, and maybe he wishes he had a flash there.
No, it's definitely not something that you want to be seeing when you have a top laner on your team that takes Ignite. You almost have the expectation that if you're going to take that, you need to win the lane. At the very least, it's not at the cost of the teleport, you know? So there is still that global potential for Nectar later on in the game, which I think is the most important asset for top lane champions, particularly someone like Camille who does like to split push. Mega Inferno Bomb, at least the first usage of it, is going to be used to clear the wave in mid. So that just shows how much pressure Wei really is under right now. And even before he gets this back off, he's going to have to deal with some more waves pushing into his lane because Shock's surely pushing this next one in.
Yeah, this next one will crash, but the Mega Inferno Bomb gives him like a free reset, right? Because the wave's going to meet in the middle. He's already on the way back. Zoe won't be able to clear it in time. So it's definitely like the right way to use the ultimate. But obviously, you know, you'd want to have that Mega Inferno Bomb to influence side lanes, influence skirmishes. It does just go to say, like you said, the amount of pressure that Mammoth are under at the moment. And it all stems from the early jungle kills, right? Like only pretty much red buggy to a T in both parts. And might be another solo kill.
Oh, it certainly looks like it. Nectar not getting out of here alive. A quick spin, a bit of flair from Claire to finish that kill off, and he's 2-0 in the top lane. And, you know, it just goes to show, I think, the development that we've seen from Claire in the last few weeks as well.
And I think what helps Claire here too is it's like a transition champion in the sense that Renekton's not a foreign concept to him because mid lane Renekton was quite prominent when he was a mid laner. So he's got hours in that champ, right? He's got games in that champ. Might see a contest here.
Oh, he certainly will be. Cupcake is not scared at all. At the very least for Mammoth, they secure Dragon. But how much is it going to really cost them here? Shinky is charging forward. Headbutt's not going to do anything against him. He's unstoppable at the moment. Shinky will just get out, but it's another kill that goes over to Only. And I mean, at the end of the day, a two deaths for a Dragon, it's not the worst thing in the world, but when you're already down this far, it's a bit of taste in the mouth.
Well, it's 4K at 7 minutes. I mean, look, I always try and find avenues back into the game, and it's never nice saying this one is a big uphill battle 8 minutes into the game, but the reality is you start to look at the avenue that Mammoth have back into this game. You think, okay, can Buggy go topside? Can he gank Claire? You know, reality is, no. The Renekton's 1v2ing every day of the week. Okay, what's Buggy's next option? Can he kill Zoe? No, Zoe has flash, right? Zoe's just not dying. There's no CC coming through from Ziggs. So then you start to look at all these possibilities. Where does Buggy go? What lane can start to win? To then give them an avenue to play through, and we just don't see it, and it might be another death here.
Yeah, Nectar certainly in trouble. Going to try and grapple out, but Gun Crab is there, Cupcake is there, and so is the Body Slam. So that'll be the end of Camille again. Mega Inferno
There we
bomb.
go.
That's the usage that we want to be seeing from it, paired with the Cataclysm.
So now we have somewhere to play through, right? The Zoe has no flash. Shock has no flash. Cataclysm is up in probably, what, next 2 minutes or so? So there's definitely an avenue to get one more kill, right? There's one more kill in this mid lane when their cooldowns are up, and it's definitely something that they need to get. It's not like a negotiable. It's not something that's, yeah, you know, if it's there, they'll take it. It has to be a force at this point because you're still a significant amount of gold down. You're about to lose the Rift Herald, about to lose another turret, and it's not looking good.
Not looking good at all. One stat that I can bring up here, Juice, is that Mammoth have got the quickest average game time in LCO at 22 minutes and 55 seconds.
Here we go.
And we might be seeing that again, but look, that's certainly going to be the end of Shock.
And you almost have to feel bad for Shock in the sense that this is just a repeat of what happened yesterday. And, you know, he probably got over his nerves. He thought, okay, I'm having a good laning phase so far. My jungler showed me a bit of attention, and all of a sudden, he's just been two-manned in the space of 30 seconds multiple times.
Well, you can see what they want to be doing. They want to take this tower down.
I'm going to hold the thought because potentially Only just goes in here 1v3 like a madman. Yeah. But he doesn't. A little more discipline. The thing I wanted to say, Elfish, was...
Way wants the tower.
Well,
look at this.
Yeah, okay. Love that from him.
First tower.
And, yeah. But whilst the tower's good and all, and it does bring back the gold deficit, right? Like, we're only at 3,000 now. The thing I wanted to say is that it's not the best case scenario for Mammoth because look at Gun Crab getting solo EXP and solo farm, whereas Shifrit and Wei were sharing EXP and farm between two predominant carries. You never want to have a scenario in a competitive game or any game where your carries are sharing farm, and at 7 minutes in the game, 8 minutes in the game, they were forced into that. It wasn't like it was their decision. It was just something they had to do because they weren't able to lane. So we need to keep our eyes on the CS disparity as well as the EXP discrepancy between Gun Crab and Shifrit. Because it's almost going to be a 3-level lead.
Gun Crab opting for some shielding and healing from his first item as well, the shield bow. So no extra mobility, not as much damage maybe as what you're going to get from Kraken Slayer, but expecting to probably get dove upon and focus down, so not the worst item. If he can survive through the initial burst that Mammoth is going to be able to throw at him, then he can certainly be a big threat. Cupcake doing the scouting duties for his squad. They do spot out this control ward. I mean, Direwolves here are just getting control in the bot side jungle so they can make Dragon theirs.
And this is the hardest side of the game, right? When you're versing a Zoe and you have no vision control, you're just going to permanently get slept, permanently get hit by Paddle Stars, and Hex Splash Jarvan. That's some new tech there.
Well, Buggy could have gone for something there, but he's not really feeling it. And I don't think you can be feeling it as a level 7 Jarvan into the composition that Direwolves have. But here we go. Hextech Ultimatum and Cataclysm right on top of Only. That's a power player out of the fight for Direwolves early. Explosive Cast goes onto the Golems. But in the end, it's going to be still a fight one for Direwolves quite comfortably.
Wait, he's just standing there.
Oh, Claire goes deep, does get the kill, but should be traded here. So is that worth it?
I mean, first of all, Shinky,
Yeah.
you got to be a little more disciplined there not to auto-attack that. Is that worth for Direwolves? Absolutely not. Whilst there's still more members that go down for the side of Mammoth, the bounties that went across to Wei and unfortunately Shinky, but the bounties that went across were just so big. I think they picked up like a 400 one and a 700 one, or I think they're maybe both 400. Nevertheless, their two biggest bounties go across, right? Renekton dies, Olaf dies, one of them goes over to Ziggs, and, you know, we talked about this pre-game rather. We just want to see a game where Mammoth come out of lane even, because they pick good fights, and when they're skirmishing, they actually do a decent job of it. But they're just never in a point where they're even. Like, this is from 6k down, 5k down, and Claire, obviously a little bit disrespectful here. Doesn't need to give away that bounty. Wei's going to pick that up. Unfortunately, doesn't get the bounty there, so...
Yeah, it was 400 and 450, by the way.
Yeah, okay, there you go. Well, that's what, you do the math.
850 plus the kill rewards,
plus
which
the kill,
300. So
about a K. We'll talk about around the K.
I mean, they're still quite far behind. Direwolves are still putting the pressure on. There's a bunch more plates, I should say, that do go over to Gunkrab as a result of the Rift Herald as well. So
And,
money's really piling up.
Yeah, but again, Ziggs and Jinx are just sharing farm. Now they've decided to split and they've decided to separate. So I don't mind that. But these are two key components from Ziggs, right? Ziggs now has Ludens, as well as the magic penetration component, plus the Sork boot. So Mega Inferno Bombs are going to be doing a lot of damage. And Mammoth, at a gold deficit of about 5k, is still looking to contest red buffs and still buffs. So they definitely have no fear.
Yeah, well, that's something that you need, I think, going up against Direwolves right now. But they're looking competitive, which is nice. Shinky, at the moment, leading the charge. Does he look for a headbutt pole? Right now, he does. Cupcake is the focus, Only stuck inside the Cataclysm, and there's the Mega Inferno Bomb. It's all working perfectly, Jubes. That's exactly what Mammoth wants. That's exactly it. You see it again.
Yeah, and you just have to ask the question, right? What are Direwolves doing? Zoe's in the bot side of the map, no mana. And we may even see another, another death. Shut down, onto Wei.
Oh, no way. No way. I mean, excuse the pun. It's not even really intended at this point, but surely not.
And I don't want to get carried away because my heart's going to be broken. But are we in for a blinder of a game? It's just Mammoth don't have fear when they play the game. You know, they're behind, they're at a deficit, but they're still contesting. Mega Inferno Bomb doing too much damage, Wei doing too much damage. And while Wei and Schreifer had some rough laning phases, and they're definitely down in the CS department, they're still able to play skirmishes very well, pilot their champions very well in the skirmishes.
And I like the way that Nectar and Buggy are playing this as well. You know, both of them were 0-4 going into that fight. They recognize that, okay, we're the facilitators here. We're not the ones that need to be pussyfooting around. We just need to get in there.
Yeah.
They dive on top of Only, and they just lock him down for as long as possible. He's the carry at the moment for Direwolves. I suppose you can make an argument that Claire is as well, but to be fair, that's probably not where you actually want your gold for Direwolves right now, because those two champions can get locked down by Nectar and Buggy.
But I think too, Buggy and Nectar have made an executive decision, or at least an internal or an intrinsic decision, that they've accepted they might hit double-digit deaths this game. If this game stalls out for as long as I think it can, then they are well on the way to 10 deaths. And I mean that in the most respectful way, that they're just going to be starting fights, right? They're putting their bodies on the line to land CC, start fights, to then have Ziggs come down with a boatload of damage. And, you know, sometimes when you fall behind at a deficit and you're playing champions that can go in but can't get out, i.e. Jarvan, i.e. Camille, you have to accept that. And in those scenarios, right, Buggy falls down. Nectar, I'm not sure if Nectar fell down, but they're happy. It's a good trade.
Yeah, I think they've accepted it, to be honest. The last 2 or 3 fights that I've watched from them, they have just gone deep onto only every single time, and it's worked. So, I mean, look, Mammoth, I wanted to say earlier, I think that they were done, but now it looks like they have a chance. Direwolves need to really start to respect this this team composition that Mammoth have put together, because if not, if the next couple of fights go the way that the last 2 have, Direwolves are going to be the ones that are behind, and then at that point, they don't really have much of an answer for what Mammoth is going to throw at them.
Well, just from kills and bounties alone, they've shrunk the gold deficit, right? So, you know, a few more of those that go across, and all of a sudden, we're talking a completely different game. What I want to see, just to take stock of how strong this Ziggs is, I want to see a bomb land. Not a Mega Inferno, just one of the Qs coming out from Ziggs. And I like this play from Mammoth. You know, they want the fight. They want the 5v5. They have the Ziggs to execute turret, so they can leave through topside jungle here. And it's just a good force of Direwolf's hand, right? They're saying, okay, you go to Dragon, we'll go down mid.
Remember, Shinky still has Hex Flash here, so he's hanging around, trying to be a little bit sneaky. We'll go over the wall. It's not going to be a huge problem for Direwolves, but maybe that Cataclysm will be. Ooh! There's another Mega Inferno bomb. And the curtain call from Shifrit as well is just sliding through the Direwolves roster. So far, the trades haven't gone too well, but Direwolves are so damn low. Shock, a one-shot. Shifrit is full HP, but Wei has been caught by Claire, and all of a sudden, it turns back on its head. It has to be Shifrit. Flash Gale Force, but Zhonya's keeps Shock alive, and in the end, Shifrit won't survive. That was so close again for Mammoth, but Direwolves find a way to win a fight.
Can you hear me out? I'm trying to find the words. This fight is definitely favoring the Direwolves, right? Like, obviously, it's a significant gold swing. They get the Dragon. It's 4,000, 5,000k lead now. But with the composition Mammoth have drafted, and again, we'll just take a look at this replay. Flashes are all available. Look at the Inferno Bomb. That is almost a half health, from full health to half health in the matter of one ability. And it's almost cleanup crew here, but Claire's just a little bit too strong, plays this team fight well. Direwolves managed to kite this one out, and they're just a little bit too good in this skirmish. And I think here's the MVP. Shock using this Zhonya's absolutely turns this, because there's a realm in which Shifrit picks up Shock there, trades on only, and then all of a sudden Claire's the only one alive. So really good use of the buttons there from Shock. However, what I wanted to talk about before the replay, Alfish, was look at the summoner spells on the side of Direwolf now, and look at the mobility.
Yeah, it's all gone.
Yeah, so next fight is really the one to win. Yes, it's a 5k deficit, but I mean, if you look at the last team fight, it is hashtag winnable.
Most definitely for Mammoth. Gets you a little bit excited, doesn't it? I mean, I can already hear it in your voice tubes. You want to see the win from Mammoth here. We've both predicted Direwolves. We could be 0 for 2 for today, but that would actually be the best storyline, as far as I'm concerned, that we could get out of this particular day of LCO. There is a Rift Herald going down in mid from Direwolves. They'll try to escort that in so that it gets at least one charge. In the end, they decide perhaps better of it. Wei needs to be a little careful hanging around there.
Or it doesn't land.
Oh!
Can he get it out?
No, he can't. Surely not.
He does. Look at the wombo!
Oh, the combo, the turnaround from Mammoth. They've come right up from the bottom of the jungle, and all of a sudden, the Cataclysm lands, Mega Inferno Bomb lands. Well, Shifrit is in a world of pain. And again, Direwolves have found a way maybe to just turn this back on its head, because the only real significant damage left in this fight for Mammoth is Wei. I thought there was going to be something a bit more from that, to be honest.
But again, I think, let's just reiterate, let's just take stock quickly. Direwolves had one of the cleanest early games we've ever seen from them this split, right? Then the game has devolved into a little bit of chaos. And chaos is where Mammoth are thriving at the moment. It is still a substantial gold lead. Let's just make sure we're clear about that. However, the top side of Direwolves does not scale particularly well, right? Olaf, Renekton are not two late game champions, right? Yes, they're still strong, they're still accelerated, they're going to be relevant for a significant amount of time. However, if Mammoth are trading even, and if all they're doing is trading 2 for 2 for as long as this game goes, they're going to scale into this game, and they're going to be able to then, you know, what turns from a half health Mega Inferno Bomb, it's going to turn into a one-shot, right? So as long as Mammoth can hold on, and for as long as Direwolves are trading even, it's going to get closer and closer as this game goes on, as Waze manages to hit his item spikes.
Solon said he wins the race for Mammoth. 1-8 this season. Could they put a spanner in the works for Direwolves? You know, it's already pretty interesting with the fact that Order has just beaten Chiefs. If Direwolves also loses this game, then that battle for 3rd, 4th, 5th, it's still raging.
Yeah, 100%. And we still need to be clear. Direwolves are in the driving seat, right? They are in prime position to close this one out. However, if any of the last fights are to go by, Direwolves aren't executing and playing their team composition to a T. Because Renekton should be having a field day in the side lane, right? 7, 2, and 4. And cancel.
Yeah, but you can't cancel the headbutt pole. Shinky might get turned upon here. Direwolves look like they want to try and force this off the cooldowns that Mammoth have blown. In the end, nothing from it.
Just a dance in the mid lane, and the Direwolves are ultimate.
Shock is surely overcommitted now. He's just going to be collapsed upon. Has got Sonya's though. Maybe it's a bait. Knock up from Buggy. That's the end of one. At least Direwolves down now onto 4. And Mammoth can look for their next engage. What a mess.
What's going on? The Direwolves are just playing Mammoth's game. They have win condition in the Renekton. He's uncontested in the side lane. He's built full lethality basically. Well, he's got the Prowler's Claw at least. Why are they opting in for these fights in the mid lane? Flash, Buggy.
He looks for the engage this time. Perhaps a bit of an overcommitment. Gunkrab just blows him up, and that is the turn that Direwolves might be looking for. Nice little boop from Wei. Forces only away.
And another saving grace for the side of Mammoth, if you're being an optimistic Mammoth fan, is it's a Cloud Soul. Right? Like,
true.
Reality is it's a dragon you're happy to give away. Zoe just flanks in here.
Oh, someone's going to have to give up their life. It's going to have to be Shinky here, surely. Does Pulverize to try and get himself out. Headbutt there, just not enough. And Direwolves look like they might just get themselves some important advantages here. Mammoth are perhaps slipping a little.
They're too low to take Baron. So if you take stock of the game, not much changes. Gold deficit doesn't move either way. Doesn't move up for Direwolves. Doesn't go down for Mammoth. So just a reset and some summoner spell trades and some kills. Like, the important thing there is Shock used his flash to pick up some kills on the back end and didn't find any. So, like, I keep looking at this gold deficit, right? And I think, okay, it's 6k. And if we could get a toggle, I think most of it would be on the Olaf and the Renekton, right? Yeah, Renekton's up 3k, Olaf's up 2. So that's 5k of your gold lead. So if we start talking numbers, like if we start looking at the rest of the team, you know, Wei being ahead gold and being the main component of this composition, all of a sudden it's a lot closer if Renekton or Olaf ever aren't there or just get one shot out of the team fight. And
Buggy does need to be careful with his engages though.
Yeah, of course. He's not built for a long time. He's built for a short time, right? He's built for do as much damage as he can, and ultimately he's going down. Yeah. So, again, just to reiterate, I know I've said this, but I'm just going to say it one more time to be clear. Direwolves are falling into the trap of playing Mammoth's game. They can win this side lane without participating in a team fight. Renekton cannot be dealt with. Jarvan cannot go there. Camille cannot deal with it. However, they are opting in for the 5v5. And again, Renekton's with the group for some particular reason.
I might have to get some thoughts from Direwolves after this game if they do end up going on to win it as to what those reasons might be. Bit of presence around the Baron now from Direwolves, putting the control wards down. Buggy's still really far forward looking for these engages.
Yeah. Keep your eyes on Wei. Want to see, keep your eyes on his mana pool as well as the damage he's able to put out because he doesn't have a blue buff.
Well, both teams definitely want to fight right now, it looks like. Buggy goes up above the red buff. I don't think he's been spotted.
I like it.
This could be very interesting. Where does he end up? On that control ward, that might
like
be
it.
the info they need. Dire Wolves, they've been collapsed upon. And there's the Mega Inferno Bomb, but the Zonyas from Gunkrab keeps him alive for the moment. Wei is dead. Dire Wolves have the sustain in the fight. And Mammoth, well, this time they're routed. This time they're done.
Yeah. And that's the 5v5 that I was looking for. The Zonyas out of Gunkrab was just clutch.
Yeah.
Pretty much wins them that team fight, right? And it's just a mechanical difference. It's just the execution difference, and it's what you get when you have a player like Gunkrab on your team. He's able to just come up in those situations with those key, moments, right, that change team fights. And unfortunately for Mammoth there, Shock, I believe, got knocked out of the Cataclysm, so it could have been a two-man Cataclysm into a two-man Mega Inferno Bomb, but wasn't the case. And this is the one team fight that you have to say the Dire Wolves executed properly, where Claire's in the front line, Cupcake's there, and it's just peeling their carries, and the Mega Inferno Bomb misses.
Feels like it's sliding away a bit from Mammoth now.
Now it is, definitely. So, again, nice engage from Cupcake, and that's the game changer there. He puts Wei into the front line, Olaf solos him out, and you see Shock getting just knocked out of that Cataclysm, stays away, and look how close that is from Shock and Gunkrab falling down. If that Inferno Bomb hits, we may be talking about a different game, different team fight. However, a little bit too good, a little bit too clean there.
Yep. Well, no Zonyas available this time for Gunkrab. But is it too little too late for Mammoth? I mean, they've given the Baron over. Dire Wolves have won the last couple of team fights. That gold lead has ballooned out to about 8,000. And Dire Wolves are looking confident now, where previously they were looking a bit hesitant in their engages.
Yeah, I mean, Cupcake was the one that turned that, right? Cupcake was the one that found Wei, was able to knock him into the team, and Ziggs can't do damage when getting ran down by an Olaf, so it was just perfect team fight there from Cupcake, and really well identified from him.
Still, Mammoth don't look too scared. I mean, Buggy, well, he probably should be scared because that is a lot of damage. And if it wasn't the explosive cask, it was going to be something. And it was this time only. So, Mammoth, their chances of winning this game are slowly but surely slipping away. Claire doing the inhib. As of yet, no engage from Dire Wolves. They know that they don't need to engage. They can take 2 inhibs for free here if they just focus objectives. Cupcake looking for something.
Yeah, and I feel like it took the Baron buff to remind Dire Wolves how to play their composition out, right? Claire one lane, the rest of the members in the other. Yeah, they were getting hard engaged on, but Shinky had to use ultimate there.
Yeah, Shinky put to sleep, very low on HP. Does go back under the safety of the base to heal back on up, but as he's doing so, that final Nexus tower is starting to fall. You feel Mammoth does have at least one more fight left in them, but
they have to go.
Are they even going to take it? I mean, is it too late now? Well, the dive is in onto Gunkrab. Those two don't have the damage to kill Gunkrab. Nectar and Buggy cannot do it. Shinky, very low on HP. So is Wei. Everyone's dead. Mammoth is gone. That's the Nexus, and Dire Wolves will win. So it was a fun game, but in the end, Mammoth just don't have enough to hold on and keep that hype train rolling.
Look, I think if the Dire Wolves watch that game back, it's a game of 2 halves or 2 tails. They're going to be extremely pleased with that early game, and it's probably something that they really wanted to focus on, given how the Pentanet game turned out for them. However, I think they're going to be really disappointed with their mid game, but then to end was very quick, very clean, very concise. So it's really that mid part of the game where I think they're going to be disappointed, and they're going to take a lot to learn from.
Welcome back, Mac. A little bit to talk about when it comes to that game as well, isn't there? That was, it certainly lived up to some excitement, but I feel like a disappointing end, to be honest.
Yeah, I think it was just disappointing because I wanted to see some crazy team fight right at the end. Look, also shout outs to Gunkrab Zonyas towards one of the final team fights there. Of course, that really clutching it out led to not only 2 extra kills for the team, then the Baron, and then you can see Dire Wolves with the Baron just waltzed their way to victory. Mammoth waited and tried to buy some time for Buggy to get that respawn up. But even when Buggy respawned, it was like they didn't know who to initiate on. At that point, they just needed to try to clear the creeps, but there's just too many minions in the base, so it was just all gone from there. But what an entertaining match that one was, Jordan.
Yeah, well, certainly. I mean, I enjoyed that game quite a lot, and it sort of almost gave me... I feel like, a bit of a team to barrack for in a way, because I like to see upsets as a commentator, as a viewer. I think that's where you do get to see some of the most exciting games, and I was really quite keen to see that composition continue to work. I mean, we saw 2 or 3 really good fights from Mammoth, and they were so nice to watch. You know, I've been waiting a while to get like that real full wombo combo feeling out of any of these team fights from most of the LCO games. And this time it finally felt like we got a bit of a taste test of that, but unfortunately just couldn't capitalize on it in the late game, and Direwolves sort of started to wake up a little bit. So yeah, it was definitely exciting, definitely an enjoyable one. Probably my favorite game actually to cast so far this split.
I'd have to say, this fight in particular, I felt like Mammoth were robbed. There was, what, 3 players within an inch of their life, but Direwolves, you know, just, they've got that experience. They know they just had to kite their way back to victory and, of course, turned it on its head. So congratulations to Direwolves to get another win on the board and managed to fight off the upset from Mammoth, which I feel like everyone at home was almost backing for, or rooted for rather. Quickly also shout outs to Jordan, who did actually call that Ziggs mid as the secret to the Mammoth draft there. Now, it's more about the Direwolves now because they have managed to get that W on the board. Yet another one, of course, that upward trend continuing. So let's bring Nat in, who has one of the upward trenders to chat to on the sidelines.
Well, look, you wanted to hear him in the pre-game, but I didn't grab him for you. But I do have only for the post-game, just for your pleasure of the voice for the viewers. Only congratulations on that win. Tell me, Ziggs pick, what were you thinking? How are you feeling when you saw it?
I was impressed with the Ziggs pick. I think it's a very nice wombo combo playstyle that they went for. The Jarvan ult or the Camille ult into the huge Ziggs bomb coming down. I think it's genuinely a broken combo. Unfortunately, they had a really rough early game. I got like super accelerated. Like no one wants to verse a 4-0 Olaf. And despite having such a good start, like they still pulled off the wombo combo on us like a couple times. So like props to them, honestly. I think if there's ever a way that teams like Mammoth and Gravitas and Legacy will get wins, it will be really like good synergy team comps like that, or like cheese picks like Fiddlesticks Nocturne, like all these things. I really like promote it for the bottom teams because it's like, it's hard to verse. Like it's really difficult. Like I practically entered the mid game despite how well things were going for me. So yeah, the Ziggs pick was OP. I respect it.
Well, there you go. Hopefully, Wei will be patting himself on the back with that pick then and the bit of praise you just gave him. I do want to talk about that, though. I know you just mentioned it. You were looking really strong in the early game. You guys seemed to have that laning phase down pat. But then we saw team fights, and you guys felt like you were crumbling. Give me a little bit more of your thoughts about that and why you think it played out that way.
Once again, they were just like, they pulled the trigger well. Maybe we got a little bit too confident because I don't know if you guys play solo queue or what, but like when you're 4-0, you get a bit like extra eager to just make shit happen. You get a bit excited to make plays. And you know, I'm 4-0 on Olaf, one of the strongest early game champs in the game. Obviously, I just want to be headbutting people in their jungle. But yeah, like they weren't afraid to pull the trigger. You know, I was like staunching them, and they jumped on me, and I insta-died to that combo. So like, honestly, yeah, it was just, I just wasn't prepared for their like confidence, I guess, like when they did pull the trigger. And the mid game was rough. Like we won, but like holy shit, yeah, the mid game was rough.
What do you think then like brought it back for you guys? Because I know you got Baron and then ended the game, but there must have been things leading up to that you were slowly feeling that you could get a little bit more of a grasp on this game.
Yeah, so they had like one or two successful engages, and I think that was like their downfall because it gave them a little bit too much confidence, and they actually did what we did, and they started overforcing fights. I remember Jarvan flash EQing onto my team, like complete Narnia engage. It just like, his team was nowhere near him, and he just died for no reason. I think because of the success of the previous team fights, they themselves got too excited. And they started overreaching as well. And I think, you know, we just know what to do when we get leads a little bit better than they do. And, you know, when Jarvan did that, we got, you know, third dragon, could threaten Baron, stuff like that. So we're just a bit, you know, we're just a bit better than this team when it comes to like the mid game, late game decision making. So that was honestly the only difference.
Alrighty, well, congratulations again. I'm sure you guys learned a little bit from that game, and hopefully we'll see you back better than ever on Friday.
Thank you very much. My dog will still be here then.
Oh, so cute.
Very cute.
Very cute indeed. I didn't even notice until he pointed it out. He was so still, just sleeping in the background.
Same. I was like, he's like, oh, my dog will still be here. And I was like, dog? And then I looked where he's pointing. I was like, oh, dog.
Gotta love a good papa in the background. Gotta love his voice too. Man only, that voice. The man's an angel. And again, very humble, you know, loved and gave respect to that Ziggs pick. He knows that, of course, there was the chance for that wombo combo, which almost happened a few times, did manage a couple in there. But look, that's the, I guess that's enough of this conversation. We do have a third match to get to. So, ladies and gents, get yourselves ready. It's going to be a scorcher coming up after the break. That's it. It's Pentanet taking on Legacy. Are you ready for some Katarina? I know I am. We'll see you soon.
Leading the charge. Does he look for a headbutt pole right now? He does. Cupcake is the focus, only stuck inside the Cataclysm, and there's the Mega Inferno Bomb. It's all working perfectly, Jubes. That's exactly what Mammoth. Be a huge problem for Direwolves, but maybe that Cataclysm will be. Ooh! There's another Mega Inferno Bomb. And the curtain call from Shifrit as well is just sliding through the Direwolves roster. So far, the trades haven't gone too well, but Direwolves are so damn low. Shock, a one-shot. Shifrit is full HP, but Wei has been caught by Claire.